Well, good morning everybody. What a wonderful ride this one's going to be. It echoes some of the rides that we've done before, starting at Puttenham, but this one goes across to Holt Forest, and it very easily joins in with the other routes that we've done that start at Bisley. So we've got a gravel section and road sections, and it sort of splits out. So we're going to start here at Puttenham, usual place. We head through Seale and Runfold, and then we go round the back of Farnham through all the little villages there. Work our way round, and then we get into Holt Forest, where we stopped at the pond. I think it's called Pound Pond, and we stopped there, had a quick cup of tea, followed our way back through. You could spend all day on a gravel bike in Holt Forest, but then we went through Frensham, past Frensham Great Pond and Little Pond, round the back of Greenhill, across the common there, which is a marvellous sort of off-road bit, and then working our way back through Elstead, back towards Puttenham. There's lots of places on that last strip where you can park a car, but not if you've got bikes on the roof. So here we go, leaving from Puttenham, and as we've said before, with Puttenham it's the village that disappears into nowhere, so it gradually fades away, starting from a really tight high street surrounded by houses to just being a single track road running through fields. Road's not over busy, although in the past we've met tractors and others. Lots of forestry down there going on, and occasionally after Storm Eunice there were a few trees that came down across the road, so just watch out because there's nothing on the left hand side to stop some trees from falling, but the road surface is particularly good. And here we're ascending up towards the church at Seale. You can just about see it in the distance there, and that's a great place to stop. There's even a cafe somewhere in the village, but we just headed our way around, then we turned left straight away this time, and we're following off from Seale towards Runfold in the back of Farnham. So we work our way out here, and then we hit the main road for a little bit. Now this is past, going round really a quarry that's just outside Runfold. And we go through, you can see there's a pub there, so that's another place where you could always stop, and the road surface is reasonable here. Occasionally it does fall apart on the inside, and I think that's the big lorries that have come in from the quarry. But now we're heading off into this estate, which is, I think it's called Moor Park Estate. And that's got lots of little gates that you have to navigate your way around, and it's got a few ponds of its own, fishing ponds I think. So there's one on the right you can see, and it's very gravelly, and they clearly don't want cars passing down this bit. So we work our way along here, and you can see it's a gravel track, and then we're back onto this road, but it's pretty fallen to bits really. You can see the inside of the lane of the road there, so recommend sticking into the middle of this bit. There are places where it just collapses. There was a left turn, and then we're heading down Monk's Walk, which is a little quiet country back road, and we're heading round the back of Farnham now towards Rowledge. Again, the sun is right in our face, so it's mid-afternoon now, and we turn right here. Now that was only a very short bit on that bit of road there, it was just a quick dog leg, and now we're following up again these back roads through the middle of big houses, and then the road just completely disappears and we're on a footpath here. It was quite muddy and fairly steep, so be very careful. But then we get to the back of some houses, it's still gravelly and full of potholes, and then we work our way through the edge of the village. We're going to take a shortcut round behind someone's houses and then down a little footpath, although to be honest we didn't need to do that bit, could have followed the road. This is, you can see, a gravel track that's now heading off towards Holt Forest. Still a few more roads to take round the back of the big houses, but these are all houses built on the edge of the forest. So we're now in Frensham Vale and Gardener's Hill Road, and we cut across that diagonally. And now it's very difficult to tell the difference between forestry estate and housing. follow our way round through this road. Still sort of heading southwest, pick up the main road for just a little while, and that will take us up towards Rowledge, which is just over the back of Wrecklesham. Really steep, this hill. I couldn't believe how steep it was, just ascended out of nowhere, and the quality of the road surface wasn't brilliant, I think because of all the building work that's taken place from large lorries. But now we cut across onto Bounston Road, still skirting the edge of the forest. And now we're working our way through Chapel Road. We actually go into the little village of Rowledge just here. Doesn't last long. Again, you can see a pub, and then we sort of dogleg through it, going down Cherry Tree Road, and then you have to catch Church Lane, which then takes us into the forest, which is Alice Holt Forest, a large forestry commission that stretches across a large part of that border of Surrey and Hampshire. Also includes Bird World. There's a piece of information for you, but lots of places to go. Regularly visited in the summer for when the purple emperor butterflies are out. But here we are to Pound Pond, and we stop for a cup of tea, a sandwich and a piece of flapjack, as always. Lodge Pond. Say hello.
Hello. What a beautiful day it is, and what a lovely place we stopped for our lunch.
And off we go again. We're leaving Lodge Pond, but we're staying in the forest, and now we're going to cut. Rather than retrace our steps back to where we joined it, we're actually going to go through the eastern edge of the forest, working our way through. There's some quite well laid out forestry tracks for the logging. So these loggers' roads are pretty solid, but they are gravelly, and they do have the odd boulder across the top, and parts of it have collapsed and being worked on. So there's quite a bit of riding that you'll find within the forest here, and it's really nice riding if you've got the right tyres. You'll need good width, but what you will find is that there's people walking dogs, and some of the dogs are on leads, and the dog's on one side and they're on the other. Lots of pushchairs. Don't forget to turn left at that point, because we're sticking fairly close to travelling almost directly south at this moment. Now, one of the things you'll find is that my GPS in my phone didn't really pick up the route very well whilst we were in here. It kept losing signal, so it tends to jump in long squares, long lines. But as we worked our way out, there's some people who've dropped their car into a ditch, probably doing a U-turn, and we're following now on Dockenfield Street. We're actually going to the little village of Dockenfield, and the place is called The Street as well, that we lead on to. So this is very rural, and it takes us around the edge of Frensham village. So we're just on the edge of the valley, and now we're turning up. I think this one is The Street. A few hills, not too steep in all truth, really. We're over the back of the green sand. So I think this is part of Frensham, and we work our way through the village, and soon we're at the other side. We're going to turn left at this point, and then we're going to leave, and we're now going to go across Frensham Common. Now, Frensham Common is some big heathlands. Parts of it's been planted up with conifers, but a lot of it is heathland, and you'll notice from the GPS that the whole of the time we're in here, it's just a single straight line, because again it didn't find the GPS. It couldn't track on to the satellites. So you're heading your way across here, but you're really heading northeast through, and it's not that hard to do. Follow your way around, and there's places where it's really steep and we got stuck in the steepness, but once you get back onto the main road it's fairly easy. That's Grange Road, and there's a place called Jumps Stream Ford down here. Now it's a little bit deeper the day that we got there than normal, and we couldn't actually go through the water. You can see there was water everywhere, so we went over the bridge, but it's not good enough for a tandem. But you might want to go straight through the water. Come out the other side, and then we're past timber preparers for the forestry, and a few farms, lots of parking. Generally stuck out the back, but the road quality is very good down here, so it's not a problem. And really from now on, apart from one little section, we're back onto quality tarmac road. So we've done our two main sections of Alice Holt Forest and Frensham Common. Those are the gravel sections. So we're now on Tilford Street, and surprise surprise, we're heading towards the village of Tilford. It's a long straight road and there's not really much in the way of turning, so although at some points we will, like here, take a parallel route that runs beside the road. It's an official cycle path, and now we're in Tilford village and over the bridge, over the river, and we're now going to follow along. I think this one's called Grange Road, might be wrong here. No, still Tilford Street. I think we're heading north. So now we're on Green Lane and Charles Hill, which is connected to Farnham Road. So the Farnham Road is long. It's part of Charles Hill and Farnham Road, and that leads into towards the village of Elstead. We're not actually going to hit much of Elstead because we're going to turn north. So Elstead is almost exclusively east of us, and we're heading east now past the roadworks. And you can see it's getting dark now, so we've had to turn the headlamps on. But now there's a little shortcut. Now this was completely unnecessary. This is what Canute reckoned was the safest thing to do. So we left that bit of road. We'd have been better off staying on it. But it's a long steep hill and you're going pretty fast down this section. So we're working well. Now we've just turned up Fulbrook Lane, and that'll turn into Suffield Lane, and that's our return to Puttenham. So now we're pretty much on a single road, following our through. It's all over the back. Now if you see a lot of cars here, that's because it is rush hour starting. So we stopped, took a few photographs of that person's crocuses, and now we're heading off down. There are 3 car parks up here that you could stop at. There's the lower, the mid and the upper, but what you will find with these is they've all got a big bar over the top. So we're going past some ponds, which is on Suffield Lane, going right over the top, and now heading our way up back towards Puttenham. And you'll see the car parks on the left, but they have got, as I say, a bar over the top, so if you've got your bikes on the roof you won't be able to park them there. But fairly easy road, this one, and it'll feed us into Puttenham. Bit of a steep hill actually in places, it just goes on and on and on. But I think there's one other car park here just on the left. There it is. And now it's an easy ride back. I should imagine it's good for bluebells. We could see a lot of bluebells, but we were before flowering time for those. So rising up the final bit of hill, and then we drop down through the countryside on the edge. You can see how fast we're going, and now we're almost back in Puttenham. So here we go, and you'll be able to see our car. There it is, straight ahead. So let's just remind ourselves, we started in the top right there at Puttenham, and then we worked our way down to the bottom left, which is Alice Holt Forest, and then the green at the bottom there, which is Frensham Common, leading off to Thursley Common. It's a really pretty part of the country. Would definitely recommend it for a good ride, and it ties in really well with some of our other rides. So you'll see it's 50% road, and well, maybe 70% road and 30% gravel. But recommend it. I would choose later on in the summer, but here we can see this is our route, and this is the other route that we've got that ties into it, where we leave Knaphill, Bisley, Purbright, Brookwood area and head up towards Normandy and Puttenham, and that's a 20 odd mile route, 23 miles, added to this one which was 24. So put the two together, they share a lot of route. We're probably looking at about 40 miles for a round trip if you wanted to combine the two, and that would be a great trip for those of you living anywhere along the route. It would make a nice little circle, because the roads are all pretty good generally, and as I say, there's lots of cafes to stop at. So would we recommend this ride? Yes. You'll see that there's 1250 feet of climbing, which in all truth is not that bad, and it goes through quite a lot of different sorts of countryside. Once you get over the downs, the Hog's Back at Puttenham, from then on we're actually on a soil material called green sand, and that's different from the bagshot sands that we've got to the north. It's much coarser, and so the heathland tends to get a bit more barren and open, and less likely to be taken over naturally by forestry. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next ride. Bye.